Aloha, everyone. Hope you are all doing amazing. And, thank you for your flexibility last week. Glad that you guys got to hang out with Deanne. Such an amazing part of our team. And yeah, I've known Deanne for, it's over a decade now. Yeah, it's over a decade that she's been a student of the teachings and that she then ended up coming on board and working for the company, running the back of the room. And right before COVID, she moved to the front of the room. Like, yeah, a couple years before COVID, she moved up to the front of the room and started teaching. And she's absolutely amazing. And her son, baby Joseph, that's my godson. I love Deanne and Joe so much. And it kind of inspired me to talk about something this week. Today's a travel day for me. Today's a travel day, and so we're doing this one recorded because I don't know if I want to do a Facebook Live from an airport. Plus, I want to make sure that this gets uploaded. And, heading out to San Diego today, going to be teaching Master Prac and trainers training this summer. And so we're all flying out there today. And, Deanne really inspired me. Deanne, the very first Huna weekend that she did, she started off at a Huna weekend. And she tells a story, like when the two of us teach together and she introduces me. The thing that hit her so much was I was teaching the Huna weekend and I got up on stage and I talked about a big part of your path is becoming pono with who you are, becoming right with who you are. And I remember she said to me, the thing that struck me so much in the training, she said, was that you got up on stage and you knew who you were. And, you owned the fact that you were who you were and you owned your path. And I remember when she shared that with me. So she had done the training, came and started doing Huna, and then she became a part of the company. And I remember one lunch she shared that, and she's like, I wanted that. Like, she goes, I spent the bulk of my life, not knowing who I am. And even in the moments where I did know who I was, she's like, I was afraid to speak it. I was afraid to put that out there. And that's kind of the message that I wanted to give you guys is like, it takes courage to just be you. It does. It takes courage to be able to say to someone, this is me. This is who I am. And this is the path that I'm on. And this is what I'm meant to do. So many people hide that. They go out with their friends. They go out with their family members. They act a certain way thinking that that's what they want, that it's somehow going to please them, that if you show up a certain way and you act a certain way, that it's somehow going to make other people happy. Total transparency. And this was not the path that I thought I would go down in this life. It really wasn't. Having grown up in this industry and watching my dad teach, and I used to run these conventions where, thousands of people would come through. And, I've been up in front of big groups and I've seen a ton of presenters. And a pet peeve that I had growing up in this industry is that I saw a lot of people get up on stage and they would act a certain way. And then they get off stage and they'd act a different way. And it was kind of disheartening as a kid growing up with this and looking up to some of these teachers. Never mind who, you wouldn't recognize most of the names anyway. And I would just sit there and go, what's up with this? Like, why? Their teachings are so amazing, and yet what they're doing is so different than what they're teaching. And I remember I was sitting with Uncle George Naope, who was a mentor of mine, and I got to live with him for a summer. And I still do hula and drumming and chanting with his top student, Kumue Tua, who's in the Big Island. And I remember he looked at me and he said, Matt, and I said, yeah, Uncle. He said, you're going to teach. And I said, no, I don't want to teach. I don't want to have anything to do with this. And he said, okay, why not? Like, why? Your dad does it. When you get up on stage, I mean, people seem to like it. I'm doing this temporarily. I'm going to hire another trainer, go back to running the business. And he said, what's the pushback on this? And I said, I don't want to have to put an act on stage. And I went down the path and I told him about this story and that story. We all have our stories. We have our stories of why we're not showing up in our light, why we're not showing up in who we're meant to be. And I remember I got done and he just kind of looked at me and he went, Well, instead of putting an act out there, why don't your act be you, just who you are, and put that out there on stage? He said, I don't change who I am when I'm teaching hula. And if a student doesn't like how I teach, they can go to a different teacher. And over the years, he said, I draw or, attract students that want my style of teaching. He said, the people that want your style of teaching, they're going to show up. And the ones that don't, won't. He said, so why don't you just have your act be you? And I took a deep breath and I went, it's a pretty good response. It's a good response. It reminded me, as I've gone down this path of teaching, I've been teaching now for 23 years. 24 years. Yeah, I've been teaching for 24 years. As I've gone down this path, I always want to remind myself, when I get up in front of a group, like I'm going to in 2 days, July 8th, we start a master prac in Carlsbad. I'm just going to be me. Just show up as who I am, and it takes courage. It takes courage to be able to say to people, I'm a spiritual teacher who teaches energy work and teaches individuals how to connect with higher consciousness, to have better communication with themselves, and don't shave my head. I wear normal clothes, eat red meat, and love to have an occasional wine there. Why not just show up and be that way instead of you putting on any type of facade? Take a reflection on that this week. Ask yourself, where can I begin to show up as me? Find a safe place to do it. Find a safe person to just be like, this is what I love. This is who I am, and share it, and notice how good it feels. Notice how good it feels to just put that out there and to be you. Okay? Hope you guys enjoy this. Next week, I think I'm going to be live because I think I have someone else on stage teaching on Wednesday. So I think we're going to be all set for next week. And I'll be seeing you from Carlsbad, okay? Aloha, ahui ho.